welcome to Create This with Cindy Harrison.
Hi everyone, and welcome, and thank you for spending your Sunday afternoon with me for this next 30 minutes. Create This, we're doing another DIY project, and it's going to incorporate a lot of things that you probably have around the house. So let me turn the camera around and I will show you what we're working on today. And you're going to want to do it. It is so much fun. I know sometimes we'll get this right. There we go. So this is a little canvas, but it can be done on any surface that you have at home. And oops, I should turn off my green screen. And basically, yes, I'm working on a little canvas. It's a 3-inch square canvas. And I wanted to show you two ways of doing this. One is that you're going to be using rubbing alcohol. But the two different ways is I started with the dark green background on this one, and I'm going to start with a light background. So you get an idea of when you're trying to choose colors to do faux finishes, which do you want? Do you want a dark background with a light top or a light background with a dark top? So that was the purpose of this exercise. So on here, I did with dark green plantation pine, and over top of it, I put jade green. This one, I started with jade green. Now let's put some plantation pine over top of it. And you don't have to be a decorative painter. You don't have to be know anything about art to do this project, because this is not a technical project at all. And I'm going to stick some plantation pine on my palette here, and then I'm going to use a big brush. Now if you have a foam brush or something like that at home and you want to use that, you can go ahead and use that, because again, we're not looking to do really technique here. So I'm going to take my brush. Now there's water in my brush. Let me put this under the camera for a second. There's water in my brush, and it's tainted water because I just did the purple, but that's okay. It doesn't matter. I'm going to mix this green with my watered down brush, and then I'm going to put the watered down paint on top of my surface. If it drips down the side, that's good too. More character. Make sure it's loose and it's not dry. Then I'm going to take a brush dipped in the rubbing alcohol, and I'm going to tap on it. And you see how it makes those cells pop? Isn't that cool? I even got some over there. But isn't that cool? So that's what I did here, only I did reverse on the colors. I did the dark on the bottom, light on the top. So you can keep doing that until you're happy with it, or it stops creating cells. So most everyone has rubbing alcohol, so have fun with that. That is a really neat faux finish, I think. And the next thing we're going to do, first off, we have to dry that. But you know what? While that's drying, I want to show you what else you can do. Say you ran out of rubbing alcohol and you don't have any rubbing alcohol. Here's a larger surface that I'm going to work on because I thought it would be really neat. And I'm going to, I painted it with a light value, light buttermilk, but a light value color. And I'm going to pick up that big brush that I was using. It has the watered down paint in it. And I'm going to, if I can do this, on an angle, just press it in and see how that creates drips. And you can drip it down your canvas. You can go either way. You can do multiples of colors, but you can just kind of drip it down your canvas like that. And if you have a spritz bottle like this, you spritz it and it runs more. So it starts to look like a watercolor. You can have it run in different directions. You can add other values to it. I'm going to put a little bit of the jade green on there. Wash my brush out. Pick up some watered down jade green. Pop that in here. And then spritz that. If it's too blob, you have too much of a blob, just brush it down with your brush. Make sure you have a paper towel under you because it will. And you can put a blob of paint in the middle if you want to. Either way, any way you can do it where it will run and give you some nice color in the background. Make sure you have a paper towel under you because it will. And you can put a blob of paint in the middle if you want to. So again, everybody's got water, right? Where it will run and give you some nice color. I want to get some more dark color. On there. You want to have your base coat on there first because that will be a nice surface for your watered down paint to adhere to. If you just did watered down paint on there, obviously it'd be on your background, on your wood, plain raw wood surface, but I'm gonna add some more of this dark color. A little bit here, a little bit there. Kind of crazy. Don't worry about it. Have fun with it. More water. Bring it down. Just play with that. Get your variation. I'm kind of trying to keep the dark to one corner down here and then turn it back around. Spritz it this way. And then when that's done, wipe off your edges. Get some of that water off. Clean it down. And you have this watercolor looking background. So you can let that dry and you can redo it again as you need to get the to get more variation. Because otherwise, while it's wet, the more colors you add, it just blends to it. So we'll put that one aside to dry and go back to our little alcohol one. The next thing I want to do, obviously this isn't dry yet, so I'm going to dry it. So the next trick I want to show you is that I was on YouTube and I was surfing for different techniques and new and different ideas. And one I came up with was using a toilet paper roll. I thought, oh my gosh, this is so awesome. And if you just, YouTube painting with a toilet paper roll, I'm sure you'll find the one I had watched. It was awesome. What they did was they cut the end of the toilet paper roll. So you mark off an area, you cut straight up to that line all the way around. And then you splayed these little tendrils out. Now, this is too big for this surface. If I did that, it goes right over the surface. So I said, what do I do? What do I have? And I'm thinking, oh, well, okay, I have a straw, right? Well, the straw is way too small. I mean, that's really way too small. And you figure, what do I do? So I cut it. I cut it and I made it to the circle size I wanted. I taped it and I rubber band. So now you can have, as many sizes as you want. Make sure you vary the width also. If you have a bigger roll, you're going to have wider flaps. When I went down to a smaller circle diameter, I made smaller flaps. Now what I'm going to do is take I have a dark purple color. This is a royal purple. And I'm going to put some out on my canvas. Take my brush. Make sure you get all the other color out of it. Or start with a new one and make sure you get all the water out. And I'm going to just paint my palette here as big as this area is round. Put it in and I wiggle it around to get all of the things full of paint. Then I come over to my surface and I go straight down, turn it, and keep going round and around. Doesn't look like much right now, but keep the circle in the middle and keep going around. The next color I chose was a pansy lavender. It's a medium value purple. And again, wash the brush out, paint an area on your palette. And put this in there, wiggle it around, lean it in, flatten it out, start again, around in a circle. Flatten it out, start again. Look like something, around in a circle. Okay. Last color I have for purple is summer lilac. Flatten it out, start again. Look like really something, around in a circle. Okay. Last color I have. Darker one out. You can go either way. You can start with the light and work up to the dark, or you can do as I did. You can go back and put some dark over this after. Okay, so putting it in here, work it around, and now do the same here. This reminds me of a dandelion. That when we used to, as kids, pick it up and blow it, and all the seeds would go everywhere, and little did we know we were causing our parents headaches. So that is how that was formed. Now, I did the center actually with the straw. So I did take the straw and I put tape around it so that all the little tendrils I made were the same length. And I'm going to put that in the dark first. Put that down here. Then put it in the next color. And then wipe that off and put it in the next color. So it made a little center. When you're done that, if you want to, you can then go back and with an end of a brush, or even if you have a Q-tip, you want to take some, let's pick up some of the dark color. I'll do it on this one. You can put little holes, little pods in there. You can do it with the light value. I don't think those show up as much. So what I would do is take some white. Let's add some white and give it a little bit of variation. I put some white in there. We can have, there we go. Make it like little, and it doesn't have to be completely white. You can mix it with some of the color, so. It's not so stark. But you have these little flowers that are like a breath of fresh air, like, phew. So, what do you think of that? I'm gonna go over to my bigger surface here and check that out. We have, and I'll take a moment now because this is still wet to say thank you so much for coming and watching the show. I appreciate it. If you'd like to be notified every time I go live, please click the notification button and you'll be notified so you don't miss any tips and tricks I might show you. And you can also find more free videos on the Bubbler Media page, my videos on their YouTube channel or on my YouTube channel. So let me see if I can blow dry this. I like to add dimension to mine. So what I'm going to do is add a little bit of dimension with something that we always end up throwing in the garbage. And that is a piece of bubble wrap, right? That's something that we're like, oh, we don't need this. We're going to just toss it in the garbage. I'm going to go in and take my brush with some of the dark, and that is a piece of bubble wrap value, right? That's something that we're like, oh, we don't need this. We're going to just toss it in the garbage. Paint right over my I'm going to go in and take my brush with some of the dark, and then I'm going to press down. And that is a piece of bubble wrap value. Right? That's something that we're like, oh, we don't need this. We're going to just toss it in the garbage. Paint right over my I'm going to go in and take my brush with some of the dark, and then I'm going to press down. And that is a piece of bubble wrap value. Right? That's something that we're like, oh, we don't need this. We're going to just toss it in the garbage. Paint right over my I'm going to go in and take my brush with some of the dark, and then I'm going to press down. And that is a piece of bubble wrap value, right? That's something that we're like, oh, we don't need this. We're going to just toss it in the garbage. Paint right over my I'm going to go in and take my brush with some of the dark, and then I'm going to press
And that is a piece of bubble wrap.
value. If you don't know how to draw a straight line, which, I mean, we all have issues, right? We don't know how to draw straight lines. I don't either. And you don't have a ruler handy, take your pencil, and what I'm going to do is take some paint, and I'm going to just paint up one side of that pencil. I'm going to brush that up. And then turn it over and put it on your surface. Rub it down, lift it off. You have a stem. Do it again. Put that paint on there. Bend it down, rub it down. You have another stem. So we're making a little garden here. And make them different heights. Don't always do the same height. There you go. A little bit more. So now you have your little garden growing, right? And in your garden, we're going to have some of those flowers that we just made. Only this time I'm gonna use the bigger one, I think. Well, no, I think I like that other size better. Let's stay with that. So in doing that, I've got to add more paint to my surface because when I paint it out over here, it dries real quick. So we don't want that to happen when we actually are doing decorative painting. So we don't splay the puddle out like this, but for today, that's what we're going to do. Put that in, squish it around, start making your flowers. Here's that color. Next color is the Summer Lilac. That one off. Oops. I didn't brush that around. If these aren't bright enough for you, and you would like them to be brighter, little spit gets that off. You can take that white. I would add that to your light value purple because I don't feel like we want to go with the stark white. But if you add that to your, to your light color purple, it makes another value. Get that on there. And then you can add that on there. If you feel like you've lost some of the dark, you can go back on it. Like if I went like this. I can bring that one a little darker on top. Okay. Then with this one, I'm thinking, wouldn't it be cool to put something other than paint in the center? And we can do that with so many different things. And I want to show you that, again, we are collectors of stuff. And I have lots of stuff. Now, if you want to stay in the purple family, you can take out buttons. We can put a dark button in the center and have it be a button bouquet. Or we can take more like an orange. I'm not sure I'm liking that. I have one that's a lighter value with polka dots. Again, not really moving me. Not moving me. How about if we go with a yellow? These are probably on the smaller side, but they could work. That could work. But say we can't find a button in our stash and we don't want to go having to buy more stuff, right? Guess what you do? You take out a white button that you have that fits your area. Let's see if I can find a smaller one. So say we go with that one. And then if you have rubbing alcohol in your stash, you could take some rubbing alcohol and on this button, anything that's white, this is what you can do with it. It could be fabric, plastic, glass. Take it and hit it up with some rubbing alcohol. Normally I would do this in like a bowl.
You're seeing rubbing alcohol, but you mean...
Oh, sorry. Alcohol ink. I'm sorry. Alcohol ink. Yes, you are so right. It's alcohol ink. And then I'm going to take... Rubbing alcohol will get rid of the color if you want to get rid of the color. Tap it down, get rid of the excess alcohol ink, and you have this nice yellow button. And that might be just enough yellow when you put it on your surface to make the difference. That might be too bright. You might not want something that bright. And the longer you keep this in the rubbing alcohol ink, the darker it'll get. So I'll just put it back in here. The last one I have, which is what I probably would be going to, is bling. Me and my best friend Melissa, my best friend, and I love bling. Hard to see, huh? Let's see if I can lift that up. So I have all kinds of that bling. We can make it a little vintagey, but tons of bling. So don't hesitate to go through your box, your mom's box, or if you have a grandmom, your grandmom's box, and pull out some of that, some of those buttons, and just have fun. So thank you once again. I hope that you will have fun creating this. until next week, we will be working on, we will be working on Valentine's Day. So I'm going to show you a few ways of creating a Valentine's Day card for a loved one, you know, significant other, otherwise, somebody that you want to share a wish with. And I'm going to be showing you with using paper punch and finger painting. And I don't know. We'll see what happens. Anything is possible on Create This. Thank you for watching.